Ubisoft has been under the threat of hostile takeover from Vivendi for almost 2 years now. The French games publisher has been desperately trying to fight them off any way they can. And now they've actually flipping done it.
This week, French multimedia giant Vivendi announced they are abandoning plans to acquire games publisher Ubisoft. On March 20th, 2018, Ubisoft issued a press release announcing they had reached an agreement with Vivendi for its full exit from Ubisoft. In the press release, Ubisoft said Vivendi will sell its entire stake in the company, which makes up 27.3% of Ubi's total shares. Ubisoft will buy back most of Vivendi's shares, and some of the shares will be acquired by the Guillemot brothers SE. Ubisoft has agreed to progressively buy back its own shares from Vivendi from 2019 to 2021, using their existing financial resources at €66 per share. As part of the agreement, Vivendi have also agreed not to acquire any more shares in Ubisoft for the next 5 years.
In the press release, Ubisoft also revealed they have entered a strategic partnership agreement with Chinese mega publisher Tencent. This partnership will, quote, significantly accelerate the reach of Ubisoft franchises in China in the coming years. According to the press release, Tencent has committed to acquiring roughly 5.5 million shares, which make up about 5% of Ubisoft's share capital. With this deal, Tencent will not have any representation on Ubisoft's board of directors, and Tencent has agreed not to increase its share ownership or voting rights in Ubisoft. Further investment comes from the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, who will acquire about 3.7 million shares, which is equivalent to approximately €250 million and 3.4% of Ubisoft's share capital. The remaining 8% of the shares will be sold at a later date to institutional investors.
I'm no statistical man, Mike, but that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of shares.
Ubisoft CEO and co-founder Guillemot said, "Today Ubisoft is fully reaping the benefits of our long-term strategy and the successful transformation towards a more recurring and profitable business. Ubisoft is perfectly positioned to capture the numerous video game growth drivers in the coming years. We are focused more than ever on our strategic plan." Video game growth drivers. I wonder what he's talking about there. Some business speak, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some guy, like a guy playing games, like in a driving game.
You want to get your growth drivers sorted out. I mean, any company knows that. Sort out your growth drivers. This is a huge news. This really is massive because Ubisoft have really been fending off Vivendi for a long time. You know, it's been a big part of the business's output. You know, I've even seen articles and stuff theorising that because Vivendi have been so aggressively trying to take over Ubisoft, that's why Ubisoft has been doing some of the dickish moves that they've done in the last few years with their games and business policies and stuff. I don't know what, you know.
Blame Vivendi.
Honestly, yeah, that's what they were doing. I don't know how much water that holds, but anyway, it's kind of over now. It's all been settled, and this is a massive titanic news in the games industry. Ubisoft is one of the biggest publishers around, so I'm sure they'll be very relieved and also very wealthy with a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it sends a message, doesn't it? It sends a message.
Yeah.
Ubisoft to mess with Ubisoft, right?
Yeah.
So apparently Ubisoft are buying back the Vivendi shares, and Vivendi are making double the money on what they paid for them. Apparently, that's just what I heard. So, you know,
from your sources,
hang on a minute. Yeah, my sources are confirmed that
respected financial journalist.
They're making back about twice as much as what they paid for. So they're getting a good deal, and in return they're promising not to buy any more for 5 years. It seems like a healthy scenario, an end to this scenario for everybody.
Yeah, Ubisoft are in good shape now as well. Their games are getting, you know, a bit more respect, a bit more love. The way they've kind of turned things around with Rainbow Six Siege, something we always mention. They're just generating a bit more buzz around games, like with Assassin's Creed. There's some real enthusiasm for the next one because they're not batting them out every single year. They just, as a company, as a name, they still do some shit things, but they seem in much better shape than they did a few years ago.
And the other factor to consider here is Tencent. They get their name on the bottom, the small print of every single article pretty much now. And what's one way to conquer the gaming world without going face to face with everyone is like just have a little bit of everyone, you know, have a hand in everyone else's pie.
Yeah.
They've literally they own a little bit of almost anything you can think of. Yeah, we fired up the PUBG mobile app, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And Tencent was the first name that came up on it. And Tencent, of course, they own all of Fortnite, or pretty much. They own the company that own Epic Games. So, you know, they're not in competition with Fortnite or PUBG or whatever. They've just owned pretty much all the lot of it. And now they own 5% of another one of the biggest gaming companies that there is. That's Ubisoft. I mean, there's no stopping Tencent. They'll just take it. They're like a kraken, right? They've got all these tentacles going everywhere in every single direction. And before you know it, you know, they'll be unstoppable.
Gaz's been playing Sea of Thieves. So Ubisoft has fought off a hostile takeover from Vivendi. How does this affect your investment plans? Let us know down in the comments below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every day, watch that video right there, right now if you want, and follow that link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.